Plaquemines Parish Council as sole governing authority of the Plaquemines Port Harbor Internal District is called to order at 4:32 p.m. Machines are open for roll call.
Councilmember McCarthy.
Ms. McCarty. All 9 commissioners are present. Next item, please.
Executive session, there is none. 3, status report by the Executive Port Director.
Mr. Tilson, mics are working for recording, but not for in here, so speak loudly, please.
Sure.
Okay, good afternoon. First off, I'd like to recognize that we have our new chief legal counsel and his acting sergeant for the board, Mr. Jacob Lee. I'd also like to emphasize, I know there's been a lot of questions regarding Mr. Lee coming in out of state, but the Louisiana statute does allow for in-house counsel. And there is a process that we're working through to complete his application. And then I think most importantly, everything okay?
Shut the door.
So Mr. Lee actually brings over 3 decades of experience. The majority of it is maritime. So as you guys remember, we have talked about should we have a maritime attorney here or not. So we do have one now, but he also has significant corporate experience and also some government experience. So what I'd like to do is just have him say a couple of things. Maybe you guys ask a couple of questions of him, and then I'll go through with the report.
Chairman Schultz and rest of the commissioners, it's truly an honor to be a part of a great organization. I came from very far away because I believe in the vision of the port and the commission. Thank you.
Okay, so. Now it's good.
Yeah, I
Was really taught a corner by Mr. Lee at the Poppy meeting, and I don't know if you saw my memo that I written about him, but he wanted to make sure I know who he was and what he was about, and so it was really a great conversation, and I left there understanding the rich experience that he's bringing to the port. So I was glad for our very intensive conversation we had.
Thank you.
Okay, so just talking about the introductions that are out there today, we are introducing the creation of a chief operating officer position, and the $72,884 that you see there, that would be for the remainder of the year. And then this position would also be budgeted for 2026 at an annual salary of $170,000. We also have an introduction to purchase another property in the Piano Keys 2, and that property would be purchased, based on completing the appraisal and the rezoning process. So we are moving forward with that. And then we are also introducing the MV Pride, a ordinance to adjust the budget for some changes that we had, but that total dry dock cost was $4.2 million. That included not only the dry dock, but significant engine overhaul repairs as well. I'll talk about that a little more later in the presentation. We're introducing a CEA for authorizing me to sign that CEA to cooperate with the other 4 deepwater ports on the Mississippi River to create a marketing plan for us 5 ports, and that would be a global marketing plan. And then the last introduction is BALSU, a letter of intent between the port and BALSU on a servitude agreement. Part of it is for them for a mooring dolphin. The other part of it is for us for some rail servitudes. So those documents are in front of you. we think that these are all very important introductions, and I just want to at least highlight them. So next slide. So the Plaquemines Pride. So, we spent a total of $4.27 million on the entire dry dock process for the Pride. 2.75 million of that was from a DOTD grant. Another 741,000 was FTA, Federal Transit Authority funds, grant funds, 5307 funds, and the port itself committed $777,400. That was our share of everything that transpired with the Pride. It's right there on it's on your sheet. Next page, yes. All of the numbers are there. Okay, Point Lahash, the vessel is still, it is in the yards. They have not started the work yet. We are I'm sorry. The Belle Chase 2 is in the dry dock. The Point Lahash is in service in Point Lahash. Pardon my mistake there. The Port Authority 2, we're still having some issues with the engine, some of the testing. As you guys know, we reported, and it didn't make it here to the report, but the Port Authority 1 was damaged by a passing container ship. That is being investigated by the Crescent pilots. And ultimately, when we get the Authority 2 back, we are going to have to pull the Authority 1 out of the water for some extensive repairs. We continue to make progress with the New Bill ferry, which will be a diesel-electric ferry. We're working very closely with DOTD, with Pelican Marine, which is contracted with DOTD. But the port also now has a master service agreement with Minnow Marine, and Minnow Marine has reviewed the design and putting recommendations together for the port. Okay, Point Lahash Ferry Landing emergency repairs. I cannot wait until we finish, this punch list. But we had a follow-through meeting yesterday morning. Went very well. There were just a few bolts that need to be tightened. That may have already been done, but we're going to be looking at another final walkthrough within the next week or two, and then we will be done with the emergency repairs. And then we'll be moving on to some electrical repairs, and then replacing the aprons for safety. We continue progressing the landing replacement program, so that's an $18.6 million grant. It is a DOTD project. Again, we're working very closely with Hanover and Hardesty on the design, and we are making sure that as we look at the design of this new ramp, that it also matches the other ferry boats. So the new ferry boat as well as the Pride, if we need it. And then I'd just like to really emphasize, obviously we spent $5 million on rehabilitating the existing landing. This will be a new adjacent landing, but our plan for the existing landing that's been repaired is it will be for us to park an additional ferry, dock an additional ferry, also dock our rescue boats to refuel. So we will put those docks to work. So the capital that we invested in that infrastructure, will continue to serve us, for decades to come. 11-mile rail extension, we continue with the Surface Transportation Board to progress that project. The NEPA is underway. Freese and Nichols is running lead on that project. And I'd just like to point out that the NEPA being performed by Freese and Nichols is an independent third party that's performing that study to ensure that everything is done properly all of the right-of-ways, if there's any type of environmental or economic impact, that will show up in that study. So the public will have an opportunity to make comments on that study, so we will be moving forward with that. Peters Road Rail Bypass, a great meeting last week with the Union Pacific. They were very pleased with the engineering drawings that were presented by HDR through CSRS. If you guys remember the last meeting, CSRS came and gave us an update. So we continue to move that project forward. And then when you talk about the Peters Road Bridge, I'm very excited to say that we did learn yesterday that we received the actual notice to proceed. So if you remember, the port received a grant of $7.4 million, a raised grant in 2024. And, this notice that we received yesterday gives DOTD and us the authority to start moving forward to spend those funds to continue to forward that project. The Navy business case analysis, you guys may have noticed on the calendar, we actually have a date set where we are going to do an update on the Navy business case analysis. I believe it is next week. I'll confirm that date. But what we'd like to do is give a Port Commission, PPG, and Navy Commander an update on where we're at. And then in November, we're also going to present an update to DOTD's Secretary as well as LED's Secretary. And we anticipate in January, the middle of January, making recommendations. These 3 meetings that I'm talking about here will give all of the stakeholders an opportunity to see exactly what we're looking at, what we're thinking. So as we make the recommendations, the Port Commission will know what those recommendations will be before anybody knows. Okay, next slide. Admin building renovations. So the roof replacement is going well. We've had a lot of hiccups. Dust in the ceiling that set off alarms. We've had some leaks here and there. We've had some electrical issues. But as far as I'm concerned, these are things that nothing here surprised me. Everything is going well. I think we're right on schedule. You will start to see the awnings put around the top of the building. It is really starting to give the building a better look. The generator emergency bypass, as you can see on the photo there, upper left, that bypass panel is now in place and fully functional. And we are planning to bring a mobile generator in as soon as possible and switch back and forth between the 2 generators for a day running the building. This bypass switch puts us in a position where when we have a hurricane, if we lose, power, we know we've done a lot of work on our existing generator, but it is old, right? And so if we need to bring in a secondary generator, it's just a plug and play. We all talked about this for a couple of months. It took us a while to make this happen. As you could see, it's a pretty big panel, and it was a very tedious process to get this, not only get all of the parts, but to get it in place. The HVAC detailed design continues to move. We anticipate that actually going to bid in September. Again, we are planning to replace the entire ventilation system inside of the building. And then the building detailed design is underway, estimated for construction sometime summer of 2026. So financial update, Ms. Glapion, I'll let you cover this.
Our financial update here, you can see on the port meeting summary that these were the ordinances that. I'm so very sorry. Attached is the financial update summary, and this is all of the ordinances and their effect on the budget that were approved at the last council meeting and the differences there.
Ms. Glapion, can you talk just at a high level about the question that was raised by one of the commissioners on email last night?
To, the questions asked, the questions that were posed asked a lot of information in regards to the upcoming two ordinances that we have for the revenue bonds, and making sure that those revenue bonds, the spending on those is going to be allocated and will only be used for the projects as they were, we had to, before we put together the revenue bond, in order to go before the State Bond Commission, we had to say what we were going to use those funds for. And those purposes were approved by the state. That is the only thing that we can use that funding for. As it relates to the building renovations, as Mr. Tillotson said in his, in the slide before, currently with the roof repairs, we have been invoiced for about 30% of those repairs. That's where we are in the approved invoices, which, with construction, those usually lag anywhere between 30 to 45 days behind actual with all of the approvals there. And with the generator bypass, though that was completed this week, we actually were only invoiced for the 50% of that project. So we've only paid 50% of that so far. Some of the other questions also related to the approvals. Our approvals are set at a director level for right under $5,000, $499. Our C-suite approves items at a $15,000 level, and all of our POs higher than $15,000 have to be approved by the executive director. It will not be put into our system if it was over the 125 limit, which is his limit that requires council approval. Those items that do require council approval or have been approved with an ordinance also have that information attached to those invoices within our system. With these projects now, all of the projects are actually entered into the system at the total amount that was approved by the council when the project or that ordinance was approved, and so that we can track the payments against the total project amount as we pay them in the system.
Can you talk a little bit about the water booster station and where we are with, there's an appearance that we're spending more money, but that money is going to be reimbursed.
Yes, and that was one of the other questions, is why was our revenue seeming to lag behind? And that was on one of the other reports that you actually don't see on this, this actual slide. It's one of the other reports that's submitted to the commission. Right now, we currently have about $7 million total in grant funds that are not reported as revenues because we have not received the reimbursements back from those entities. Those reimbursements are being submitted right now. It's approximately $6.3 million on the water booster station and another approximately $600,000 on with our other port security grants, that those are coming in. Those funds, once the funds are received, those revenues will be recorded in our system. Approximately $600,000. And that's over, I believe, 7 different port security grants, 7 different projects that we have with those.
Okay, human resource update. We apologize. Ms. Bell has been ill this week, and she came in, she wanted to be here, but she was running out of energy, so, we graciously forced her to leave and go home and relax and recover. But vacant positions, the special assistant to myself, we completed the interviews, and we have actually made a selection. So you will be hearing about that shortly. The chief operating officer, I talked about that in the introductions. Senior accountant, we are sad to see that Miss Erica Brown is leaving the port. Today is actually her last day. She's been with the port for many years. She will be going to the parish. She will be missed, but we are advertising that position, and Ms. Glapion will keep things moving in the accounting office. We also know that this meeting today is the last meeting for our Director of Communications. She will be leaving us and going on to another position in the Department of Homeland Security. Personally, she will be a big loss for me as executive director, but I know that also goes for the rest of the team and the Port Commission as well. She is going to have an opportunity to speak here shortly, but we are advertising that position, and it is going to be some big shoes to fill. Not saying that you have big feet, but big shoes. Policy implementation, I mean, we are, putting staff training out there, making sure that everybody's very clear on what's going on with the policies. And then the 2 unclassified positions submitted to civil service. You guys probably remember the IT manager has been out there for a while, so we're really trying to get that finalized to get an IT manager in and then the chief operating officer.
Okay, communications update. You've heard us speak about SEO for a while. So for those who are not familiar, SEO is search engine optimization. Basically what this is it is how we rank on Google when people search for us or when they look for things that relate to the port. So we've been working on this for a number of months, and this will be an ongoing process, and you may expect it to take a couple of years to really see it ramp up because we went from an established URL to a brand new URL at louisianagatewayport.com, so that will take us some time, but we are tracking upwards already. Our domain authority is already up from 24 to 27, and we have 12 new backlinks and 4 more underway. And hopefully, you can still see this. So you'll see the trends there, how they continue to rank, and as we publish more backlinks, what a backlink is that basically is what routes us back to our website from other external websites. So the more of those we create, the likelihood that we continue to raise our search engine ranking. We also have a number of keywords that we utilize, and this is what we do with Google specifically. So any keyword that would pertain to the port, we have those in here, and you can see how we are continuing to trend upwards in our rankings. And then our overall health score, that is excellent, and this is doing very well. There was some time that Google needed to understand that we rebranded, and it seems that they finally finished that ranking. They understand that we have rebranded from Plaquemines Port to Louisiana Gateway Port, so we are ranking relevantly on Google, and we have a good health score. And all of this is utilized by our agency. They use something called Ahrefs, and it is the most active SEO web monitor on the internet. It's the most reliable data tool, and that's where we're able to pull all these statistics from to see how we continue to improve.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is just another method of how the port is actually tracking how effective the rebrand has been, and we will be tracking this over time. So, I mean, this is really excellent work, by Ms. Vignier, and again, she is going to be missed. That concludes my presentation, and we are open for your questions and comments.
Thank you. Hey, Mike. Any comments from the public? Is that okay, Mr. Jersich?
Quit playing, man. Quit messing with it.
Aaron Bronx, 156 Enos Campbell Lane. I just wanted to pass some information to Mr. Tillerson that when the new ferry in Dulces went down, nobody was surprised. But when it came back up, everybody was so excited. So keep people excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was surprised. Trust me.
Up in the Del Chase. I came over on the ferry today, and it looked beautiful. It really did look beautiful. And congratulations, Mr. Lee.
Any other comments from the audience? Commissioners? Ms. McCarty?
I want to thank you for answering some of my questions. The way that the numbers are presented are a little bit different, so it's hard for me to compare apples to oranges. So I would still like to request a balance sheet and a budget to actual. And I see that you've updated the financials. imagine my surprise when I looked and I saw that we were $9 million in the red from the other report that we got. Okay, so thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep.
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes, Mr. Tillotson, I just want to go on record about the decision that you made for the ferry, about the generator, that you had made the right and correct decision. Anytime we got to make a hard decision, we always want to side on the safety of our people. I know maybe some of us might not remember, but I remember in 1968, we had a serious accident right behind my house with the African Star that ran into some barges, and several people was killed. Again, the name of that ship was an African Star. I never forget it. You know, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you see people jumping off a boat and that's on fire, you know. Mr. Lee, you must be a special person.
Not really.
Because Mr. Tillotson, he don't hire too many men. Oh, man, stop that, man. Come on, man. Right?
You only two.
I look forward to working with you. And Miss Angelina, sorry to see you go. It was an honor and a privilege working with you. It's always good to know your worth. Always know your worth. And I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you. On behalf of the council, the port, the people of the parish, I want to thank you for everything what you did. God bless.
Reverend Edwards.
Thank you. First of all, Charles, I really want to thank you for explaining to me about all the stuff about the generator, because, you know, I got a lot of information. People was calling me, really saying that you made a bad move with the generator. So I was glad when you sent information out to the state law about that, and then making the necessary changes so that we can have a generator back. So I want to thank you for that. But I want to get to my young sister. Thank you. I think you did an amazing job. And I'm too, like Charles, really sorry to see you leave, but I'm glad you're going to bigger and better things. But I could tell you without a doubt, and you know me and you talk a lot, I really, truly appreciate your level of professionalism. You were able to take a lot of stuff, and you brought some serious stuff. I know when we were doing this rebranding, before you came on, I didn't understand it. And when you got on, it really helped me with rebranding it. And I really loved everything that you've done with it. And so, again, I want to share Mr. France and everybody else. We're sorry to hear you leave, but we're glad that you're going to bigger and better things. But truly, if you don't ever hear from us, you left the legacy here, and we will never forget you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jursich.
Yes, I can reiterate that too, Angelina. You're going to be missed. But one of the concerns that brings this up is you seem to be having people walking out, people leaving. I mean, it's a big, you know, we get asked questions. Why does everybody want to leave? Why are they leaving the port? But then every time I turn around, you want to create new positions, and now you can't keep the ones you got filled. You know, now with the COO, what is that going to bring to us right now that we really need?
So is that a question?
Yes.
So the chief operating officer is a higher level position with a higher level of experience to help us to control the port's operation as we grow. I mean, I've been here 2.5 years. The growth has been tremendous. And I think we all discussed it multiple times. The director of vessels and security position just was not a robust enough position to handle everything that's going on. So what it will do is create a position where we have an operational person with maritime port operational experience that can keep their finger on the pulse of all of the operational stuff that goes on, where I don't have to stop and deal with little operational things at a ferry landing or at, with a ferry boat or something going on with a lease, et cetera. So it is definitely something that we've discussed that we needed. We've had some challenges with the org chart. I mean, we talked about, our HR manager role. We talked about that for over a year, and we really had to develop that out. So organizationally, we are coming full circle, where we now will have all of the positions in place where we have the opportunity to put the right individuals in those positions with the right skill sets to deal with the daily demands of the fastest growing port in the United States. This commission holds me accountable to a very high standard, and so I really need a professional staff that I can hold them to that same standard, and they can handle it, and they've done it before. So that's really what this is doing.
So it's more like an upgraded job with Jalen.
That is absolutely correct.
So it just, okay, look, I get concerned. We just keep creating jobs, throwing money out there, and I know you talk about the growth,
Right.
but, it's not, we're gonna have to really start growing and start making some money sometime soon if we keep spending it. And that's, where I stand on that. I'm ready to see something on paper. I'm ready to see contracts signed. I'm ready to see somebody else step in and sign a lease with us, that they coming. They definitely coming, because, we gotta be careful how many people we hire and how much we spend. When, you got LOIs and stuff like that, how I feel about those. I just wanted to check on that position, because, I get it now. It's a higher level position of Jalen's type of thing.
Right. And I concur with your concerns in terms of, we're buying land, so we must do some things differently to start to lease this land out a little faster. And I assure you, one of my decision points in bringing in Mr. Jacob Lee is, what I didn't talk about is he comes from a container carrier, the big pink ships, ONE, Orient Network Express, but he's also worked with multiple other carriers, and he's been involved in some very big concession agreements, lease agreements. He understands terminal operating agreements. So as we sit down and negotiate, we have somebody now that's done this on an international level, that he's been there before. He understands it, and he is going to be an asset to the team. And he's already contributed within his first week.
Done. Mr. Skonovich.
Angelina, thank you for all you've done. We'll miss you, and good luck in the future. Mr. Lee, welcome. Now, Charles. I understood about shutting it down for the generator, but are both generators the same?
I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out right after this meeting. I believe they are.
Because we could have a separate generator sitting on a shelf,
Yes.
but we could change it in a couple hours and be back up going.
Yeah, that is correct, and thank you for bringing that up. So one of the things that myself and our ferry manager we've discussed is putting together a letter and going to meet with the captain of the port, not only to have another generator, to have on the shelf, but to also request permission and their guidance on us creating a bypass switch, which there's going to be some extensive engineering to make that happen. Because it's not like you can just go plug another generator in. I mean, it's a little more involved in that. But that is a conversation that he and I have had, and we are going to sit down with the captain of the port to present that to him and get their guidance on moving forward. So we do not want to see another reoccurrence of what happened here. But I'll say, this has also never happened to one of the port's ferries before in history. So our ferry manager, who's been here for over 30 years, was a little shocked to see this.
I don't know if they're gonna give us permission to use a portable generator, but I know I've been on boats and we gotta follow the same rules y'all do. And, you know, we changed out a generator in a couple hours and just told the Coast Guard it's changed and that's it. Everything works fine. But we're not down. We can't stay down waiting to rework generator. So,
Well, that's the conversation that we're having, that we can't stay down like that again. We just can't let that reoccur. So we agree.
thank you.
And I apologize to the public. I feel like we've had a customer service failure. I understand how important the ferry system is to this parish. I mean, the Mississippi River divides, this parish, but our ferry system connects it. And we clearly had a service failure here. We're going to be looking at ways to prevent that from happening again.
'Cause I understand about breakdowns, but we gotta have parts on hand that, we're not gonna stay down for long. Thank you.
Ms. McCarty.
I want to ask a few business questions that I forgot to ask earlier. Mr. Lee, would you take the Louisiana bar exam for us in January?
No, as explained earlier by Mr. Tolleson, that I am an admitted attorney in the states of New York and New Jersey, and under the rules of Louisiana State, lawyers that are admitted in another jurisdiction are allowed to apply what's called a limited licensure of in-house counsel. So I'm in the process of filling out an application, and the process, includes going through a character and fitness investigation, and some other documentation, forms that I have to fill out, and I don't have to take the Louisiana bar.
And you don't want to?
Ms.
So
McCarty, I think this is
I have questions.
but that's not an agenda item. We're getting off.
Part of him being introduced to us for the first time.
I think we're getting off subject, and
Mr. Chairman, if I could just chime in here. The agreement that we have coming in is that Mr. Lee will fill the role as chief legal counsel, as in-house counsel under the rules allowed by the state of Louisiana. We've discussed that process with Mr. Garrett, with Mr. Burris.
They're all fine with
The
it.
application is in process.
Right.
We have everything under control. At this point, there is not a need for Mr. Lee to take
Okay.
the bar in
So I
January.
was just
Because,
wondering if-
and I'd just like to also point out, there's a lot of other stuff that between now and January that Mr. Lee and myself have to accomplish. So, asking him to go and take the bar is asking him to put aside some time to go prepare for the Louisiana bar.
I was just concerned about, are we paying Dwyer Cambray as well as Mr. Lee for civil decisions?
I don't
If you're going through
I don't
that,
understand the question.
if you're going through that law firm, is that correct?
We use several law firms.
Okay,
Correct.
so which law firm is he going through?
we need. Wait, hold on. He
In-house
works.
counsel
He's
does not go
in-house.
through a law firm.
We have
He's
professional.
applying with a company, isn't he? I'm just trying to
No.
understand.
He works for us as
Works for
in-house
the court
counsel.
As in-house counsel.
We hired him as in-house counsel.
To an attorney's firm and get licensure.
No, Mr. Garrett.
And so there are a couple of different ways an out-of-state attorney can do business and can serve as an attorney in Louisiana. And that's why we set up a call, Rennie and I, with Charles and Mr. Lee to find out what, just for our clarity.
Yeah.
So there is a specific provision in Louisiana, under the rules of the Supreme Court, under admissions, where an attorney licensed in another state can be granted limited admission to practice solely as in-house counsel. Okay, so what he would be, all he would be doing would be rendering legal advice to his employer in-house. If he wanted to appear in court on behalf of the port, he would have to either get admitted pro hoc vice or they would have to use somebody else. And there is a process for that. He submits an application, Supreme Court, they do a character and fitness, they reach out to the prior states that he's licensed in. And then ultimately, the Louisiana Supreme Court will make the licensure decision as to whether they issue him that limited license as in-house counsel.
Okay.
And that's what his role would be, and that would be the limit. It's a limited licensure. It's not, he couldn't go do divorces or personal injury cases or anything like that. All he could do is give advice in-house to his employer, which would be the port. It is like I said, it's limited in scope. It's also limited in term. It's a 4-year licensure that is subject to renewal. And only the Supreme Court can do that. So that was the only question that Rennie and I had because we weren't really sure. And I think the conversation I had with Charles, and as soon as I had the conversation, no offense, I'm like, I don't think he knows what I'm talking about. And it's terms of art. Because there are ways that lawyers from out of state can give advice to in-state attorneys without having to go through this process. But they're going through this process for in-house counsel. He would only be able to render legal advice to the port
On civil as well.
on any matter, but he wouldn't be able to appear in court on their behalf without getting admitted a different way. It's called pro hoc vice. That's completely different than the in-house.
Mr. Lee, I'd like to say I appreciate your experience with shipping companies and terminal companies. And I'm glad that you're bringing that to the table for us. You know, I just wanted to understand and be clear about the other information. Mr. Tillotson, what is the yearly salary for the COO, just for FYI, my information?
$170,000. Yes.
And,
Subject to budget approval.
Subject.
We would have to vote on that. Let's be clear about that would have to come to us to add that position and budget approve it.
Finally, Ms. McNair, I want to say that you've always presented yourself very professional, and I think you would be a great on-air talent. You know, it's a shame that, I hope that the Homeland Security can use you for that. I don't know exactly what you're going to be doing. The things that I had brought up before somebody mentioned your name, it was never about you. I wanted you to know that. It was about the issues that were occurring in public. And that's why I had to address those in public. But I think you're a very professional person and have a great personality, and you'll go far. Thank you.
Mr. Skagnovich.
Got a question for the lawyers.
What you got?
When y'all go to school, do they have a class just to teach y'all to talk? Y'all lawyers can talk.
They do. They do. We get paid to talk.
Per word.
Ms. McNair, thank you for everything you've done for the port. I'm sure I'll see you around with kid stuff, but thank you for everything you done for the port. Good luck in your future endeavor, and thank you. Next item, please.
5, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following ordinance is for Councilmember LaFrance. An ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land and property more fully described in Exhibit A owned by Laura A. Denbostel, subject to the approval of rezoning of the property to heavy industrial I-3 with respect to lots 37 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The remainder of the introductions are for Commissioner Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure operating expenditure budget and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to authorize Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to approve engine repairs for the MV Pride Dry Dock project and amend the 5-year capital improvements budget, line item MV Pride Dry Dock, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director of the Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to enter into a letter of intent with BOLSU to facilitate a construction dock project adjacent to port property and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to authorize Charles D. Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to approve change orders for the MV Pride Dry Dock project and to amend the 5-year capital improvement budget line item MV Pride Dry Dock and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson as Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Commissioners of the Port of New Orleans, represented by Beth A. Branch, its President and Chief Executive Officer, Greater Baton Rouge Port Commission, represented by J.G. Hardman, P.E., its Executive Director, the Port of South Louisiana, represented by Brian Cox, its Acting Chief Executive Officer, St. Bernard Port Harbor and Terminal District, represented by Drew M. Heapy, its Executive Director, known as the Lower Mississippi River Ports, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, an ordinance authorizing Charles Tillotson, Executive Director of Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District, to purchase land and property more fully described in Exhibit A owned by Plaquemines Parish Government with respect to parcel number 8400200-22197 Highway 23 Agricultural Research Equipment Water Siphon Pipe Greenhouse, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Going off, Mr. Kongovich, you got the floor temporarily.
What's the last ferry ride across in Point Lash?
I-45.
Huh?
I-45.
We gonna make them wait?
We can.
Yeah, please do.
Make a phone call. And I want to go off one other thing, Ms. Fickner, because of the introduction. I'm sorry. I wish you would, the market study, the joint market study, I wish you could partake in that because of all the work you've already put in on that, but you will be missed there. But I just want to say thank you for all your work on that too, with the meetings we've had so far on that. Next item, please.
6, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 6B, a resolution adopting the quarterly updates and additions to the policies and procedures for Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz. Changes.
Oh, go ahead.
You can get your changes here. Heidi.
You know what? It didn't come through. You can see it's a little bit color.
On line 6 in the digest,
Slightly different.
we are
Must have been
inserting
printed just black
the
and
word
white.
process, control for the effective management of the port. On lines 12 through 13. Forgot it was working. On line 12 through 13, we're inserting behind usage policy, a newly defined port Title V policy and comprehensive IT security policy, and those are the
Is that
changes.
Title 6? Title
That's
6.
Title 6.
Title 6.
I'm sorry, I know that.
All right. With that offer with changes, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Koknovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please. Yes. We, vote's done. I don't know. You can add. Motion.
Because she was on the winning side.
So motion to reconsider. Do I have I have to ask for a second? Do I have a second? Second by Mr. LaFrance. Do we have to vote on that? Okay, machines are open for reconsideration. Sorry, it's been a while since we've done one of these. Passes 9-0. Back to prior agenda. Hold on. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. You gonna queue in? Ms. McCarty.
Okay. So I'm tired. I stayed up till 2 o'clock reading all those policies last night. And I want to know if we can defer this. And I have copies of this if anybody wants to read it. I took some notes. And I'm pulling out some of them. But did we ever adopt Louisiana Gateway Port as our name? Because if we didn't, is it legal for us to put that in the policies? Can somebody go against us in court and say that this is actually the Plaquemines Parish Port and Harbor Terminal?
Wait, you're always the Plaquemines Port, Harbor, and Terminal District.
Okay, that's
But
not mentioned.
but what I'm saying is, essentially, y'all are, it's a DBA, it's a doing business
Oh, it's
as
okay.
Louisiana Gateway Port. So there's not going to be a legal issue on using that name in the policy.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And it says under policy for staff, approved AI tools, but it doesn't list what those tools are. Should we list what those tools are since it's kind of ambiguous?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Yes, it's under AI policy for staff. It says only use AI tools that are approved by the Port IT department.
That's correct.
Okay, I could not find those tools that were approved.
So the port uses Copilot.
Uh-huh,
We do not use ChatGPT
okay,
because it is not aligned with our cybersecurity policies.
so you're just saying
So-
it's understood not to use anything else but.
That is correct. And so once this is adopted, and that was one of the things that we talked about in HR, we are going to be having some training along these lines. And one of the things I'd like to really emphasize, with the rebranding, and I believe our rebranding was brilliant, and I hate losing Ms. Wegner because what has occurred with this port is we've gone from people not knowing who we are to where we are very relevant. So relevant, our attacks on the cybersecurity side have gone up at least tenfold as well. So that's part of why we're elevating, our policies and the training of personnel so that we can protect ourselves.
Okay, so the next one was sensitive data. It also didn't identify the sensitive data. Might want to stick that in there. And then under comprehensive IT security policy, there are two policies listed, and they both reference Appendix A. So one of them is LGP Comprehensive IT Policy, Security Policy Doc, and the other one is LGP Comprehensive IT Security Policy 1 doc. So there are two in there. We just need to remove one of them.
Miss McCarty,
I'm saying we're approving this.
you had 2 weeks to look this over, and you're waiting to the night before?
Well, this is the first meeting that we're having since.
But the policy has gone out 2 weeks ago. You had 2 weeks to look at
Did
this.
anybody else read this?
I did.
I did, yes.
I did.
I mean, we're talking about an extra dot?
No, two documents. It's two different names.
Oh, I misheard you.
There are two different documents listed, and they both refer to Appendix A. So which one is accurate?
So if I can insert myself here, one of the things that we at the port are attempting to do now is create a continuous improvement process. And I will be the first one to tell you that all of our policies are not perfect. So what we encourage is if there's something in our policies that we need to change and fix, and we can fix that. I'll
Okay.
take a look at that. But, we will be bringing these policy updates back quarterly because we don't want to have a policy that sits on the shelf for 2 or 3 years and nobody ever looks at it. So
Yeah.
so I understand your concern. We appreciate you looking at it, but if you can understand that the spirit of what we're creating here is a continuous improvement system.
Okay.
And we want to always be correcting any minor things like that or adding stuff that we need for additional layers.
Okay, and the last one that I would have mentioned was, it talks about us having financial services and members instead of citizens or employees. That's all. Okay.
Item deferred. Moving on. Next item.
Why are we deferring it?
Why?
Just defer it. Let her, send her, this is not that big a deal, but we gotta move on. We got the ferry catch.
An ordinance to
It's not, 2 weeks is not gonna hurt the policies.
Okay, no problem.
Defer.
C, an ordinance to amend the 2025 plaque.
2 weeks is not enough, I guess.
Next item.
plaque-
We got.
We need 4 weeks to look
No,
over everything now?
Mr. Newsom, out of order. Mr. Newsom, moving on. Next item, please.
D, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Plaquemines Port Harbor.
No. Moving on. Mr. Newsom, you're out of order.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District Capital Improvements Budget Renovation Port Administration by allocating the funding from the Revenue Bond Series 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
Second by Mr. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience? Any comments, sorry, my mic was off. Offered by myself, second by Mr. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. Machines are open. Passes 8-1 with a no vote from Commissioner McCarty. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2025 Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District 5-year capital improvements budget land acquisitions by allocating the funding from the Revenue Bond Series 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
Offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. LaFrance. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. Machines are open. Next item, please. Passes 8-1 with a no vote from Ms. McCarty.
An ordinance to amend the Louisiana Gateway Port 2025 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget to defund 2 positions, a ferry maintenance person position and ferry secretary positions, and to unfund an additional ferry deckhand position, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Commissioner Schultz.
Offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Edwards. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item.
8, approval of the minutes from the August 14th, 2025 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Koknovich. Comments, machines are open. Ms. McCarty, Mr. Gui. Mr. Koknovich. Passes 9-0. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. LaFrance. Second by Mr. Newsom. Machines are open. You can vote no. McCarty, Gui, Champagne, Edwards.
Congratulations, I forgot to give you congratulations.
Passes 8-1 with a no vote from Edwards. We'll be adjourned 5:29 PM.